evening, good morning, whenever you're watching this. It's time for a video game review and a little bit of history on this one as well. For a game I picked up at MagFest very cheaply. Vigilante 8. There's the case, and there's the back of the case, and there's the disc. And since this was done by Activision, they are promoting Pitfall 3D. And the guidebook. Yes, this game does have with the guidebook, so yay for that. Vigilante 8 is a vehicle combat video game released on June 4th, 1998 for PlayStation, Nintendo 64, and believe it or not, the Game Boy Color. It is a spin-off of the PC game Interstate 76, featuring several of its themes, concept out of Vigilantes, the 1970s time frame, and specific fictional vehicle companions. Now, the gameplay is pretty much straightforward. Twisted metal. Just think twisted metal on this one, okay? No more, no less. Now, depending when you got it was depending, because it did come out June 4th, 1988. Depending what country you lived in. I mean, in America we got it May 31st. The PlayStation 98. 64 would not get it till 1999, and the Game Boy would not get it till December 1999. Now, the plot of the game, it is set in an alternate 1975 where a global oil crisis occurs in the United States on the verge of economic breakdown. Why does that sound familiar? A rapid crime wave in the cities promotes the deployment of more security forces, leaving the hinterlands with little or no law and order. A oil consumer, the oil monopoly allegiance regime, Omar, is determined to control the global market, wants the destruction of the U.S. to ensure the success of their plan. Now, there are many characters in this game. You got Conway, who's an old cowboy driving a semi-truck. He's accompanied in a fight by his niece. A Las Vegas high roller, John. Alien-obsessed hippie Dave, Torque's friend Slick Slider, excuse me, who he bullied to join the group, and FBI agent Casey Blue, who was assigned to investigate reports of gun battles in the region. Now, the game's villains are the Coyotes, a group of hitmen recruited to carry out Omar's plan. Now, the founder is known as an Australian terrorist, Sid Byrne. He also has a disco dancer, Boogie, a close association. Mentally disturbed S-Sport test pilot Loki, Beeswax, a beekeeper frustrated by his beehive, Houston 3, a black woman brainwashed as one of Omar's assassins, and juvenile delinquent Molo, who is driving a school bus and is desperate destroying the Coyotes. Now, the endings for these were very weird at the time. Well, weird back then, because I didn't understand it, but now I do. The endings were part of the story, a big part of the story. When one character's ending would end, that's when another character's ending would start. So it was very good like that. Now, the development was, who cares? Now, it feels pretty much like a Twisted Metal game. That's pretty much what it is. Twisted Metal. Just a different story in different vehicles. That's pretty much it. Other than that, it is a Twisted Metal clone. At least to me it is. You know, some people may disagree. Some might, I don't know. That is other people's opinions. Now, there would be a sequel to this game, Vigilante 8 Second Offense, which would come out December 1st, 1999. Now, the plot is set in September 1977, 2 years after the events of the first game. Now, before I continue, I know somebody's like, well, why are you not showing us your copy? My copy is broke, so I have to buy a new one. So, yippee. Anyway, back to what I was saying. The plot for this one takes place 2 years later, 1997. Pretty much, not really much has changed. There is some new characters, but I don't really care about this one. This was not one of my favorites, but we're not going to talk about that. Maybe when I can find it again, I'll give it a better review. Now, Vigilante 8 2, Second Offense, came out October 31st, 1999 in America. The Dreamcast would actually get it as well, and the Nintendo 64. By the way, in Japan, this was known as Vigilante 8 Second Battle. Now, Vigilante 8 was also get released November 5th, 2008 on the Xbox Arcade, also known as V8 Arcade. So it did get it's pretty much just an update of the first one. That's pretty much what it is. No more, no less. Now, excuse me again. For me, Vigilante 8 is not a bad game. You can tell it is ripping off the Twisted Metal franchise. But it's one of the few vehicle combat games from that era that actually did very well. For, trying to compete against Twisted Metal. Because Twisted Metal at the time was the big game. We all know this. Twisted Metal was probably the biggest one in the franchise. Sometimes, geez, we even saw WWE do a vehicle combat game along in 2003, which was weird. But, we've seen a lot of them. Starsky and Hutch, which I don't know how that was counted as a vehicle combat game. There was a lot of different ones coming out after Twisted Metal got popular in the 90s. But some are family friendly, others were not. This is why I say this rips off, because it is pretty fucking much, what is it? Oh yeah, ripping off Twisted Metal. That's pretty much it. No more, no less on that. Excuse me. Now, as far as for my official review, this game is fun to play. There was no doubt on that. I will agree to. At the end of the day, Vigilante 8 gets a 4 out of 5. The graphics hold up somewhat okay. The endings are take it or leave it. The controls work pretty well, so if you play Twisted Metal, you'll probably be very good at this game. The cheat codes, they still work. Granted, I don't use cheat codes for the for infinite weapons and stuff, because the AI sometimes can be a pain in the ass. I would definitely recommend picking this game up if you can find it at any of the video game conventions around the U.S. or good luck with eBay. Yes, that's Vigilante 8, guys. A very good rip-off of Twisted Metal. Let me know what you think, though. Did any of you guys ever play Vigilante 8? And if you did, I want to know how you feel about it. Until then, until later today when I see you for one more video game review in my wide world of sports, this is the DOUG signing out. Woo!